Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Forever Faithful Podcast. I'm Brandon Freno, joined by me is my co-host Christian Dyer, and we also got some special guests tonight. We got an Our Sickness podcast, Beto, and we got
Cubo!
What's up, Primo?
Cubo mi raza! Viva los Latinos!
Highway, and we also got 49 Media Anshul, and we also have Beto coming in. Bashar coming in later.
Really?
From now on, Brandon will be
Really?
Hey,
we gotta start this show over again.
From now on, Brandon will be referred to as
Gabino.
Honestly, Christian and I should just leave the podcast because it's just triple B's now. And
Exactly.
Hey,
Leave it to Gabino.
So, okay, from now on, Brandon will be forever referred to as 49ers Gambino.
No.
49ers Gambino.
Okay, anyways. For those of you that are watching in Twitter, we cannot see your comments, so go ahead and go over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/Forever Faithful Podcast 49, and we'll be able to see your comments there. Just real quick, throwback. What's going on, my guy? Always loyal to
throwback.
All right, let's get right into it. Sunday, we mollywopped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady with the one and only Mr. Relevant himself, Brock Purdy.
And Mr. Relevant now.
So let's get you guys' thoughts. Me and Christian were there on Sunday to see it live, but let's get your guys' perspective from seeing it on TV. What do you guys think of the rookie's first real game against the GOAT? Podcast. Beto, go ahead.
This dude, man.
Having mini seizures over here.
I'm telling you, bro. Go take a dookie somewhere.
Mini strokes.
Yeah. I was impressed. Again, Todd Bowles. I understand this is not the 2020 or whatever when they won the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know they're missing a lot of key players, especially offensively, but this still was a top 5 defense coming into Levi's. Forget about Tom Brady. This whole Brock versus Tom Brady is bullcrap because he did not play against Tom Brady. He played against that defense. And Todd Bowles brought in everything, the kitchen sink. I think he had 11, if not more. What do you call those? I can't think of it right now. When they bring everybody at you. Blitzes, thank you. And he was able to handle it very, very well. So I was impressed with that. I was impressed. And now he got his ears rung in the very first play. He made a wrong call, but he quickly learned, like, oh shit, if I'm going to survive in this league, I can't be doing those. And I don't know about you guys, but doesn't it seem like he got to kind of like get the feel of the game for a few throws, and then he kind of goes into his own and starts getting into rhythm. Mm-hmm. So I like what I saw, man, and I'm excited to see what he does against Seattle tomorrow in a hostile environment.
All right, Media, go ahead, man.
I mean, yeah, he even said it like in the press conference, like after the game, that it was on him. On the play where he did get sacked to start the game, and so he takes accountability right there. So that's really good to see. And Brock Purdy, yeah, he just looked comfortable. I mean, he threw some absolute dimes. Like, he just continued to impress me, just like the last game. And it really showed what it looks like when he has a whole week of preparation. And the blitz doesn't really scare him at all. Like, he was just fantastic. He was just playing ball. He almost did have a pick, but luckily it wasn't a pick. But he just looked really, really good. I thought he looked fantastic. I mean, again, he just continues to impress me. He's exciting to watch as a 7th round draft pick.
All right. SG, we're doing well. Hope you're doing well too. Thanks for tuning in. Christian, from what we saw in person, what was going through your mind as the game was going on?
He was making some plays that really had me pretty wowed. That one, he The one where he like sidestepped and darted it in between two defenders to Debo. I was like, holy shit, this guy's a gamer.
Mhm.
He escaped the pass rush quite a few times that I was like, oh man, this is great because he was able to extend plays and make some things happen. The biggest thing that stood out to me is his ability to convert third downs and do well in the red zone. I know we weren't in the red zone too much, but when he definitely did really well in the red zone. I think the two times of the two of the touchdowns that we had was in the red zone. He did really well. But his ability to convert on third down, like I'm pretty sure in the first half, other than that penalty that stopped the third down he picked up with his legs, he was perfect on third down, which is pretty awesome because we've struggled on third down so much even this season. So I liked what I saw from him. I liked that he definitely is a gamer. He has you can tell he plays with a lot of heart. And he does, from what I noticed the most, is he sees the field really well. Like I was really watching him when there's pass rush and what he's deciding to do, and he's like getting guys in his face and sidestepping, and then finding the guy in the flat, whatever the guy wide open to dump off, and he's hitting these guys for and instead of it being a sack or a 1 yard gain, we're getting multiple yards because he's keeping the play alive and. It seemed like he knew where his guys were going to be when he threw the ball. So every time he did get a lot of a pass rush, he knew where to go with the ball, which I really liked because how many times we see Jimmy panic or here's the ball, take a sack.
He was doing that at the game too. He's like,
yeah, I was making fun of Jimmy when Purdy was actually getting rid of the ball. He threw it away when he was under too much duress. I like how smart he plays and how fearless he is. I mean, geez, he took a freaking shot in the first play of the game, got right back up and drive the team down for a touchdown. The play I really liked because at first when I saw it, I thought, oh, well, he kind of threw it behind Kittle and Kittle made a good catch. But then when I thought about it, I was like, I actually liked where he put that ball because when Kittle was able to move his body and turn around, it was able to hold off the linebacker. And Kittle was able to protect himself as he came down with the ball instead of going and catching it in front of him across the field and getting lit up by the linebacker. He to me, it looked like he was actually protecting Kittle a little bit because if Kittle catches that in stride, that linebacker was right there and may have smacked him. So I really liked that third down pickup that he had to Kittle just because it was a really good play. And I liked the ball placement, and Kittle made a good catch because it protected Kittle from taking a big shot.
yeah. SG, to answer your question, we're going to get to the Seahawks game later in the show. We're just going to go over a little bit about the Bucs game and what we saw from Brock Purdy and everything like that. But just real fast, I want to bring this up. Brock Purdy has now thrown 2 deep balls, right, on Sunday. And Jimmy Garoppolo has only thrown 1 the whole time he's been here with the Niners. Do you feel like
completed one?
Yeah, completed. Do you guys feel like Kyle has opened up the playbook more with Purdy under center now?
Absolutely. You
It's
can see it.
Purdy doesn't hesitate. He just does it. He just goes for it. Jimmy's so hesitant too with the deep ball, even if he does throw it, and then he's inaccurate. Purdy's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Purdy might not have arm strength, but he's definitely accurate.
Yeah, what was his accuracy in college? Like 68%?
Yeah, I think he doesn't have a lot of arm strength, so sometimes it looks like the ball takes forever to get there, but he's accurate. But I mean, that one I talked about where he sidestepped and slung it to Debo, that was nice. Like he had some zip on it, and it was right to him between the defenders. Like that was super accurate ball. That one to McCaffrey for the touchdown was freaking beautiful.
And then the one to Ayuk too to end the half. Oh my god.
The one to Ayuk, I mean that kind of partly showed me the weakness in his arm, but he also had a guy right in his face, so he couldn't finish stepping into it. So I'd give him a pass on that.
And I like the way he pumped the football where he got the safety to stay still,
right?
Just enough to free up Ayuk.
Oh yeah, no, I love the pump fake that he does.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
pump
nice.
fake, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw."
It's hard to know if it was his arm strength or if just the guy was right in his face when he let it go.
It looked like the guy was in front of his face.
Ayuk burned that burned the guy so bad that he was wide open for so
Mhm.
long that it had a little bit of extra time to get the ball to him. But so
Yo, even that throw to CMC for the touchdown, that was
that was
amazing.
insane. That was gorgeous.
Just what he's able to do though, too. I mean, that run that he ran in for a touchdown. Listen,
Oh,
it looked easy.
wow.
It looked easy, but it's not.
Mhm.
It is not. Defender, quarterbacks usually run into their own man or sack themselves, if you will. The way he did that, and the way he was just incisive. He went through his reads that were not available, and he just took off and run in his mobility. Not only that, but remember that one throw when he threw to Debo for a first down when the defender was right in front of him, and he kind of juked, and the
That's one
defender
we've
went
been
by,
talking about.
yeah, it went right by him. Man, I love that because listen, Jimmy would have got sacked right there. I don't care what people
Well,
say.
Yep.
The first thing I said when Purdy ran that one into the touchdown, the first thing I said was Jimmy could never.
No,
That's the first thing I said while I was at the
Exactly.
game.
he probably would have got hit and fumbled the ball.
I know.
Yeah. So, Beto, we were talking about this before the show started, but SG actually brought it up. What are your thoughts of the QB controversy between Purdy and Trey Lance for next year?
To be honest with you,
Go ahead.
CJ Sports Talk, right now it's too early to even go into that type of segment. That's something that for us content creators can definitely talk in the off season, give us enough ammunition to talk about. But right now, let's enjoy the development of this young kid. Let's enjoy that now that Jimmy went down, that our season did going down the shitter, that it's actually still wide open for us to get as far as we can go with this kid. So honestly, in my opinion, I would just enjoy Brock Purdy to see what he does against Seattle and his development under Kyle and Greasy. And then we'll worry about Trey Lance in the offseason, in my opinion. But it's too early to tell because he might do really, really, really good and we don't want Trey, or he might just shit the bed from going forward and we're like, we need Trey. So
Yeah.
it's too early to tell.
Yeah. Media, let's get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, like I think that of course the media and the fans are always kind of different because the media always likes to stir everything, and so it's like I think if he continues to just show that he can play, they continue to win, he just continues to play ball. I think there might be some controversy in terms of on the media side, but personally, I think this is more of like you're showing the Niners you're showing Kyle Shanahan what you can do. And it's like you're trying to become the backup to Trey Lance and make sure that the Niners don't bring back Jimmy Garoppolo next year.
Yeah. Christian, go ahead and kind of clarify this with what Throwback just said. So we were talking about this with the group chat.
Yeah, I mean, well, what
yeah.
I was saying is, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, Purdy's doing really well, and he can win in this offense, but he doesn't bring a dynamic. He's not going to win an MVP. Okay, his ceiling is not an MVP caliber season. He's going to do what he needs to do, protect the ball, make plays when he needs to win games. But where Trey Lance has a huge ceiling. Trey Lance's ceiling is MVP. What Jalen Hurts is doing right now, MVP caliber season. Where I don't see that for Purdy. I'm not saying Purdy's not doing well and a good football player and a good quarterback, but Lance's ceiling is extremely high. And if we can get him to start playing like Hurts is playing, it adds a completely new element to this offense. So, I don't see them being a controversy. I see him just being a backup, kind of like a Nick Foles type thing. I think he's just proven that he is a really capable backup at this point. We're going to roll with him like the starter now because that's what he is for us. But as of now, he's going to be a capable. Yeah, he's going to be a capable backup. And it is, I think it's too early to even be having this conversation or bringing it up because he's played 2 games, guys. Like, let's chill.
Do we remember Drew Bledsoe being a starter quarterback in New England, and here comes a 7th round or a 6th round pick that had no arm? And people forget Tom Brady did not have an arm. He developed that arm throughout the years as he played. He didn't have that. I'm not saying Brock is going to be Tom Brady. Okay, don't misquote me. But who was Tom Brady before Tom Brady became Tom Brady? He was a 6th round pick that everybody passed on because he didn't have what people thought he needed to be a good player. Drew Bristle was that. Trey Lance was that type of prototype quarterback. Brady wasn't. Now Brady's taller and has a bigger frame than Brock, but who's to say that Brock can't be that quarterback?
That's fair. I think really winning the Super Bowl might be the only way that it even changes or makes that conversation. But if you want my honest opinion, if Brock wins a Super Bowl, if the Niners win a Super Bowl, I don't give a flying fuck what happens after that because we won a Super Bowl. I'm good for the next 10 years. I don't give a shit. I finally got to experience. Right? I got to experience him finally winning the Super Bowl. I don't care what happens after that.
Yeah, so SG Sports Talk said, how would you grade Brock Purdy's performance against the Bucs from A to F?
A-.
Yeah. I was going to say A, but A- will work.
I'm going to count that interception, especially because I think it was
just because it was called back. It wasn't mean that he didn't throw it. So you're
because somebody, it was Ayuk or Kittle was wide open over the middle, and then he goes and throws an interception, and I'm like, dude, they got what? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'll give it the minus because he threw an interception. Yeah, it was called back. I'm going to give him the minus just because that it was a rookie mistake that he made, obviously.
But let's keep this in perspective too. If I would have said a 3rd string quarterback was going to come in and face the Bucs defense and Tom Brady, and Lefty was going to give him an A-, people will be like, no way, he's probably going to be like a C. So an A- is a great grade for a 3rd round. A 3rd string quarterback coming in.
The way I look at Purdy is he's came into a freaking fantastic situation, completely surrounded by talent, and he's not wasting it.
Remember that quarterback? I'm sorry, from the Bucs. I forgot his name. He was a rookie quarterback. He wasn't that good either, but the defense was good, and the running game was good. And they took
Mike Glennon, Josh Freeman. Who?
No, none of those. He was a mobile quarterback too. Can't think of his name, but he was with the Bucs. Somebody remembers in the chat can bring it up, but it was he came in late. He started quarterback went down, and he came in the week number 10 or something. And he took over and he started winning games for the Bucs, and he was not a good quarterback. Brock was better, but because they had a great defense and they had a great run game, they went far. I think they went to the championship and lost. I can't think of the quarterback, but it wasn't those two guys you mentioned. It was a 3rd string quarterback or 2nd string.
I can't remember, honestly.
I
should remember that, but I can't.
I can't remember his name. Hopefully somebody in the chat will.
Just real quick too. I want to say as well as Christian McCaffrey had his first over 100 yard rushing yards for the first time since he's joined the Niners. How do you guys? What did you guys think about Christian McCaffrey's game on Sunday? You think this is his best game yet?
As a 49er, absolutely. He's never done that against the Bucs.
I'd say yards. I'd say yards wise, yes. But I still think that the Rams game was just so good.
Is that the one where he did the triple?
Yes.
Yeah, it was where
the Rams game.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, congratulations because Christian McCaffrey did win the Week 14 Grand Player of the Week. So congratulations to Christian McCaffrey.
I think he did good, man. He was really seeing the field well, making a lot of nice fluid cuts and getting a lot of yards every time he touched the ball. That catch he made was fantastic. That touchdown run was awesome. He's getting better and better in Kyle's offense every week. So,
yeah. So when me and Christian were there at the game and we were ready destroying the Bucs and everything, riddle me this. I know you guys could hear this shit through the TV that day, but Levi's was loud. You guys heard Debo chants and
Sean
Purdy.
King. Sorry, the quarterback I was talking about was Sean King.
Oh yeah, I remember Sean King.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. But I mean, talk to me how electric that stadium was. Could you guys hear everything through the TV? What they were chanting and
It was
everything?
loud.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine how you guys felt.
Oh
it.
dude, it was
It was
when it,
awesome.
I heard
when
that Candlestick Park has not been that loud since 2011 or
Of
10
course,
or
Joey was about to say that.
It was
pretty
pretty
loud.
loud.
yeah, when they were chanting Purdy, like
Oh,
when
dude,
the
that was
crowd was
amazing.
chanting Purdy, it was insane. Like,
Yep.
and his family being there to hear that was really cool too, because it was pretty awesome, man. It was so loud.
Yeah. It was wow. I'm not gonna lie, like I think this is one of the best games I've ever been to be honest with you.
How was your guys' seats, by the way?
We had standing room.
Yeah, we had standing room.
Oh, nice.
we
Paid a-
went on the third floor and we
In
just
the end
stood
zone.
there the most of the time.
Paid
But
$100. Paid $100. It was nice.
you could see everything still, so it was nice.
Sometimes people say those are even better than because you can move around. You're not.
Yeah, it is. Me and Brandon freaking were jumping and celebrating together because we had all this room to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sitting in one spot.
It was nice.
I can imagine just the atmosphere. I mean, I was at the playoffs in 2019 with the Green Bay NFC Championship, and it
That
was
must have been electric.
It was rocking. So I can
Bro,
imagine.
I went to that Browns game like in October on Monday
Oh, when
night.
Breida
I was
freaking busted the
there
for my
80-yarder.
birthday. Yeah, for my birthday. Oh my god, that
Oh, in
was
the very first play,
like the
he-
vibe was so different because obviously like I'd been a year where we went to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
so
I was there too, media.
really.
I was at that game.
the Browns game.
Fun,
Damn,
yeah.
if we knew each other.
Right?
Super cool, man. It's
Yeah.
super cool. That game was awesome because I won my
right.
fantasy game that
So-
week because of Breida.
I'm gonna
You
introduce-
guys got to go to a Super Bowl game.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
Ain't nothing like a Super Bowl atmosphere. Let me tell you.
all right.
I'd love to go. I'll tell you that.
Wrong, okay, guys. I'm gonna introduce our own from the 49ers High family, Mr. Ted himself. What's going on, Ted?
Ted,
Everybody, thanks
What's
for
up,
having me.
Ted?
Hey,
How's
what's
it
up,
going,
Ted?
man?
Nice to meet you.
what up, Ted?
What's up? So I know of Beto, obviously lefty. I've seen your picture before. 49er Media. What's your first name?
Anshul?
Anshul. Yes, sounds familiar. All right. Well, howdy, everybody.
What's going on, man?
Did he say he was Brandon's Hancho? Sancho?
Honcho? What are you talking about?
What?
What is
Yeah,
it?
man.
He's
I don't know
49ers.
about that.
First, he's 49ers get beat on. Now he's 49ers honcho.
All right, Ted, let's get your thoughts from Sunday's game. What did you think about Brock's performance and just how the whole game went?
Well, I thought Brock played really well. Obviously, the first half, we had 28 points in the first half. Incredible. Two really nice throws. I mean, a lot of really nice throws, but two nice touchdown throws to Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk. So loving that. I thought, he also, when everybody was covered, he ran the ball in, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, the Bucs defense was a little undermanned. They were missing both starting safeties. Sean Murphy-Bunting didn't suit up, one of their better corners. Their nickel corner got injured pretty early in the game. And the big one for me is the big guy, Vita Vea, arguably the best defensive tackle or one of the top defensive tackles in the league. Went out early before even before Kevin Givens did. So, I really like what I've seen from Brock Purdy. I'm just tempering it a little bit because the Dolphins defense was a little banged up too. They were missing their one of their starting safeties who goes alongside of Javon Holland, Byron Jones, who plays alongside of Xavier Howard. And Xavier Howard's been injured most of the season and not really himself. There was a point not too long ago where he led the league in interceptions, and I don't think that's what we saw out of him in the Dolphins game. So I really love Brock Purdy. I love his mobility. I love his toughness. I love that he's very accurate with the ball. I don't see him throwing many hospital balls. I just hope he keeps growing. I think as he practices with the first team defense and with our elite weapons, that he'll just keep getting better and better. But I'm not like one of those like, oh, trade Trey Lance guys, or he's the next Joe Montana or anything like that yet. I mean, I'm kind of in between. I think he's better than Mullins. But I'm a wait and see kind of guy. I've seen lots of quarterbacks come in and do well quickly and then fizzle out as defensive coordinators figured out their strengths and weaknesses, and figure out how to take away their strengths and exploit their weaknesses.
All right. And then I talked about this earlier with the other guys. Do you feel like Kyle has opened up the playbook more with Brock under center now?
Yeah, definitely, especially because Brock Purdy can play with his back to the line of scrimmage. We can run play action from under center. You're seeing Juice check in there more, and his blocking is so outstanding. So, yeah, I feel like it definitely opens. And also, he seems to be better at throwing the ball deep. As I mentioned, there was the nice throw to CMC that where he had the toe drag swag. And the throw to Ayuk, could have had a little more oomph on it, I'll say. But put it this way, like he had a guy in his face, at least one guy in his face, and that was after the oblique injury. So once you injure your oblique, it's going to be harder to put velocity on the ball. So haters would say I'm making excuses for him, but I just say they're just facts.
Still a touchdown though. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also too is the oblique happened before half too, and he seemed to be. I mean, he didn't do much in the second half because we didn't really need to, but he still seemed like he was playing perfectly fine. But I mean, I think we shouldn't be too worried going into tomorrow's game with his oblique injury. He's his status is questionable, but I think he should be good to go.
Like Kyle said, it's a pain tolerance thing, so it's
exactly.
It's really up to Purdy and how much pain he can deal with, which he seems like he's one of those guys that's going to play no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it doesn't hinder him too much and he still plays well regardless of the injury. But
yeah,
it'll be nice because if we can get through this game and win, plus that'll give us a lot of time for him to recover because we won't play again until Christmas Eve.
10 days, yeah.
And we win the NFC West if we win.
Exactly. So we could freaking rest some guys if we really need to.
Yeah. So, Sports Talk asks, how would you rate head coach Kyle Shanahan on a scale 1 to 10? Beto, go ahead and answer this first.
Based on the performance against the Bucs, or generally as the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. But if we're going against the game against the Bucs, I would rate him at least 8. I think he did a very good helping out Brock and calling out plays for him. So I give him an 8. If you talk about in general from the season since he's been a Niner fan, I would say about a 6. As a Niner coach so far.
Okay. Ted, go ahead.
I like 8 for Kyle overall. I'm a Shanna fan, so I have a trouble getting too mad at Kyle when he's had Jimmy G and I guess you can get mad at the GM side of Kyle for having Jimmy G and Mullins and CJ and Hoyer. But the coach side with those limitations at quarterback, I think he's done a pretty good job. I'm a little upset with him for running Lance up the middle too much, or even an option where he's likely to run up the middle was how he got injured. So, I can like him and still be critical. It doesn't mean I have to say that everything he does is sunshine and roses, which is definitely not the case. I know a lot of people get mad at Kyle because, he's this offensive genius supposedly, and defense wins the game a lot for us. But then I go to that GM side and say, we've invested a lot in our D line, and Kyle I think has a big role in that along with John Lynch and Adam Peters. I think the three of them are pretty influential in a lot of those personnel decisions.
Media.
I am gonna go in terms of this game. I'm giving Kyle Shanahan a 10. I mean, like I just keep seeing it. Like Purdy's just playing great. I don't really see anything that I'm like, why is this the case, or why did this happen? So that's why I'm giving him a 10. And this game, as a coach overall, I'd probably lower it to 7, just because, sometimes he has that ego side of him, and he hasn't won the Super Bowl when he should have. So
Yeah. Okay, Christian, go ahead.
Well, we all know I've been actually really critical of Kyle Shanahan, especially lately. But just from watching that last game, it kind of have made me rethink things a little bit, because how much of the stuff I've been complaining about have been because of Kyle not trusting Jimmy to fully run his offense. Because I've seen more play actions in this past game than I've seen all season. I've seen a lot more motion in this game than I've seen all season. I've seen a lot more of what I expect Kyle's offense to look like every week that I have not seen all season. I mean, how many times have I said, why am I not seeing what I saw in 2019? Why am I not seeing all this stuff? Like, it doesn't feel right. It feels like Kyle's lazy. I felt like I was seeing the old Kyle in this last game with Purdy under center, like trusting Purdy to let go, to throw the ball and to find the open guy, running the play action, hitting, not really trying to run the middle that often, mostly hitting the edges and getting our guys open and out in space, which I saw a lot more of. So like I'd probably give him like an actual 10 for this game, because I saw a Kyle Shanahan offense that I've expected to see all damn season. I finally saw it, which that's what I like about Brock, is he's at the minimum able to run Kyle's offense the way it's supposed to be ran. So that's why I actually like, at the moment, I like Purdy way more than Garoppolo, because Garoppolo hinders this offense to half of what it's able to most of the time. I mean, one of the biggest things in Kyle's offense, what I always thought was play action, and then not seeing play action most of the season was bugging the shit out of me. And now I feel like I know why. I'd probably still give him like a 7 for his tenure here, because he has had a pretty rough. But the more that I see other guys that are capable to run his offense, how much different it looks compared to the guys we've ran it with, I can understand why it's been bad and it's been upsetting, because I felt like while I was at the game, I was watching a Kyle Shanahan offense, which is why we easily put up 35 points.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to move on to our next opponent. We play against the Seattle Seahawks Thursday Night Football.
Fuck them.
All right. We got a couple injuries going on. Brock Purdy is questionable with the oblique, like we talked about. Debo's out for like 3-ish weeks, Kyle Shanahan said. And we got some injuries on defense as well. What are we expecting for this game to be able to pull out a dub with some star players that we have out?
It'll be the same thing we saw against the Bucs. I know like it'd be a little different because Debo's not in there, so it might change things a little bit. But I think similar. Purdy getting the ball out, moving around in the pocket, getting the ball out quick, not taking really many sacks, making things happen, getting rid of the ball.
All right.
I think we'll definitely see it I expect to see similar. I think we should run the ball a lot and play off of that. A lot of play action. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle, continues to try to blitz him, or at least try to confuse him. So, but I expect to see something similar. I mean, it'll be a little different because of no Debo, but I don't really expect to lose to this Seattle team that we shut out the first time. Special teams touchdowns don't count. We shut their offense out. I don't expect to give up enough let them score enough points for us to actually lose this game. We don't have to put up that many because we're going to bring them right back down to earth. They're not going to be that. I'm not worried about this Seahawks one bit.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Listen, the Carolina Panthers ran for over 200 plus yards on that defense. They're tired. They got gashed. They're playing in a short week. The Niners, McCaffrey had his best run as a 49er. Jordan Mason, little Marshawn Lynch. We're going to give the Seahawks fans their version of Marshawn Lynch and Jordan Mason, hopefully. But we're going to run the ball down their throats and stop the run. And they're not good in stopping the run. They can't run. Now, I think Walker will be playing for them. So that's a good thing for them. But I think we can handle him. We stop the run and we run the ball. I know it sounds cliche, but it is what it is, especially on the road. Stop the run and run the ball, and your chances are great. And just put pressure on Geno Smith. We did not sack Tom Brady once last Sunday, but we were in his face so much and we pressured him so much that he was not on his game. You do the same thing to Geno, and this game is pretty much going to be a double-digit win.
Geno's not getting rid of the ball
as fast as Tom. You're right.
Tom got rid of the ball so many times. There would have been 5 sacks if Tom couldn't get rid of that ball. So Geno's going to take at least 3 sacks tomorrow.
And I felt bad for Bosa because I really wanted him to have a sack against.
They took one from him.
What are the chances he's going to play him again? Unless we play him in the playoffs. Tom might retire. I don't think they'll play the Bucs in the next couple of years. Tom will be gone. So I wish it would have been a nice sack for his.
They stole one from him.
Yeah, they
did. He did get a sack that one. They just Kyle should have challenged. Kyle should have challenged it because that was a sack.
Yeah. So Joey asked, "Are you guys worried about their CBs?" Woolen leads the league.
Woolen's really, really good. I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
I'm not because he's lead, but they played terrible ass teams and terrible ass offenses all season. So I'm really not that worried. Like you forget that Seattle's had one of the easiest schedules all season. Yes, they've made the best of it and done really well and have their chance to make the playoffs because of it. Mm-hmm. But they've had a damn easy schedule. They have not played that many good teams, so I'm really not worried.
But when we played them, they did play everybody else. It seems like they're completely out of sync when we played them, and then after they played us, they seemed to pick up steam and
because
they start. Go ahead.
So they haven't faced a defense like us even since us. So we're the best defense they faced all year, and we're going to be the best defense they face again.
I think we should stop them somewhat, but I just don't see it being as easy as it was week 2. Though, that's all. Yeah, hopefully it is as easy. That'd be fun. I'd love to destroy Seattle on their own turf, but we'll see.
Yeah. Tell us, get your thoughts.
I think it's going to be a close game. It's always a close game with these guys. I think we've barely beat them in Seattle once in the last over a decade. Mm-hmm. Last time we beat them there was 2019, and before that, I think it was 2011, which was the last time we swept them. They're, on paper they don't look good. They don't look like they have a good run defense on paper. But when you stack a bunch of guys in the box, that can help take that away. I worry about Nwosu, especially if they line him up on Mike McGlinchey. The guy's got 9 sacks. Tariq Woolen, even if they're not good teams, he's got 6 interceptions. That's way more than anyone on our team has. He's got incredible makeup speed. I think Brandon Ayuk is an insane route runner. I think Brandon will get separation. The question is, will Purdy get him the ball there before Woolen can recover? Because I do think he has elite recovery speed. He's like 4.2, and the guy's 6'4". He has length. So even if he doesn't quite get back into position, he can leap up and make a play. DK Metcalf is a matchup nightmare, even for a great defense. The guy's big and fast. Tyler Lockett has 6 TDs in a row in games. That's the most in the NFL by several games. Guess who their wide receiver 3 is, guys? Or have you guys all heard?
Marquise Goodwin.
Goodwin.
And he had 100 yards last week or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and how have ex-Niners done against us this year? How did Dante Pettis do against us?
They cook us.
How did Jet McKinnon do against us? How is River Craycraft, who never did a thing? And
Trent Sherfield.
Yeah.
Oh, don't remember that Sherfield.
And then it's like I like Purdy. I said that earlier. I really do, but we haven't seen him outside of Levi's. And Lumen Field, or whatever they're calling it these days, is about as far from the friendly confines of Levi's as you can get, not geographically, but figuratively speaking, as far as a rough place that's loud. I would say it's second only to Arrowhead, if it's even second to there. So it's a really tough place. Rookie quarterbacks are like 3-12 there since 2005. And not that I really don't think Brock is like most rookie QBs. I'll be honest. His 4 years at Iowa State makes him better, in my opinion. But no Debo, that's a concern. I think Ray will help, but nobody takes Debo's place. If he's not our best weapon, he's our most punishing weapon. And so there's some things to worry about. Kenneth Walker should be back, and he's a hell of a running back. They didn't have him against the Panthers. They didn't have Shelby Harris against the Panthers. Al Woods went out early. I don't know. Did anybody see a practice report today if he practiced? I know he didn't.
I believe he is questionable.
Yeah. So if Al Woods plays, that's a big difference maker in the run game or run defense. So, yeah, I mean, and then special teams TDs, they definitely count. I got to disagree on that one because they counted in 2021 when they faked the punt, and that 7 points is what they won the game by.
That Travis
But
Homer
it didn't
thing,
count
don't
week
remind
2
me.
because it
Don't
was
remind me.
27-7.
Yeah, I'm just referring to the fact that we shut their offense out.
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
That's why I'm saying it doesn't count because they scored a special teams touchdown compared to we did shut their
Sure.
offense out the first time.
Yeah.
We're the best defense they've faced all year.
Yeah.
They've not faced one defense even close to ours since they played us. So that's what I'm saying. They don't really scare me that much because, yeah, they've been able to put up points at times, but they've played pretty weak defenses compared to ours. And our defense now, other than losing E-Man, our defense now is better than it was then.
Well, no, because we had Kinlaw and Armstead then. We had Hassan.
We got Armstead.
Then. We had Givens.
Still.
We had 4 defensive tackles that now we only have one of them. We only have Armstead. So that's a big difference. Yeah, no, Emmanuel Mosley, I like what Lenore's doing, but yeah, he's no E-Man. Yeah, and now we do have Jimmy Ward back, and he's playing really well. I'm really happy with the way he's playing at nickel.
Played out of his mind on Sunday night.
Yeah, I said I thought it looked like he was in the huddle with Brady and the offense there. He knew exactly what. There was no fooling him as to what they were doing.
People are challenging Jimmy, and he's making the best out of his opportunities.
I mean, he also had the Superman type of pick, versus Miami.
That was amazing. Yeah, no, and I think he got a bad rap because he came back with the club, and it was his first games back, and he wasn't in game shape, and now he's getting there. I just hope we see him more on Lockett than Marquise Goodwin, because I think Lockett is more of a route runner, and Goodwin is a burner, and I just don't like Jimmy Ward's speed against a real fast slot receiver. So no, I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not picking us to lose. I do think we'll win. I think we'll win by maybe 3 or 6 points. But I do think it'll be close, and in a close game, I always say anything can happen. So that's some fluky play, some bad call, some injury, some special teams play, whatever the case may be. I think it's gonna be closer than a lot of people think.
Here's the thing, because I don't think the Seattle Seahawks offense is better than the Buccaneers offense. We suffocated them completely. So
I think their O-line is, and I think that's a big difference from week 2. They had 3 rookies on that O-line who have all gotten better over the season. And, the Bucs were missing Tristan Wirfs, who's maybe the best right tackle in football. Maybe it's Lane Johnson in Philadelphia, but, he's in that conversation of top right tackles. They were missing their left tackle. Donovan Smith leads the league in holding penalties. And sure enough, he had the big hold on the Mike Evans TD that reversed it. And then they're missing their center, Jensen. I think it's Ryan Jensen, something Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the Seattle Seahawks center isn't very good, but I think their O-line is decent. And honestly, I think Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, at least more proven at this point. So I think there's some similarities to 2019 where we've got the better team, the better defense, but they've got the better QB, or at least the more proven, experienced QB. And so I see some similarities there between that and the first meeting in 2019.
So I don't think this happens, but Joseph asks, what if Purdy doesn't play? Are you worried?
I'm worried. Hell yeah. I don't want to see Josh Johnson out there.
Hell yeah, I'm worried.
Very worried.
It's worrisome, but I mean, if Josh Johnson can score 21 points, I think we can win. But I don't think it matters because I think Purdy's going to play anyways.
But the factor that's there for us, even if we do have Josh Johnson out there, they are terrible defending the run. So a dream scenario would be Josh
It doesn't.
Johnson
Yeah, it
comes
doesn't
out there
really
and we just
matter.
run the ball the whole day.
What I expect is they might try to sack the box early, but it seems like Purdy's pretty good at. He's pretty intelligent, so he may make them pay. The way we always get frustrated because Jimmy can never make them pay when they stack the box. Purdy seems to be able to. He's even smart enough to change the play at the line and make something happen when he sees it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they might try to start stack the box, but I don't think teams are stacking the box against Purdy that they have against Jimmy. So that kind of makes a difference too.
Well, here's something to think about. And I talked about this when Zach came on TED Talks Ball last week. We were talking about, now that was before we played the Bucs, but we said things the Bucs might try against Purdy. And one of them was don't blitz so much, because he beat the blitz against the Dolphins pretty well. He handled it. He handled the pressure. And Zach made a comment of like, hey, if you've got a young QB, like you can almost help them by blitzing because it opens up a guy really quickly. You don't have to think much. You just get the ball to the open guy where the blitzer came from, and it makes it simple. And we both said, well, maybe the smart thing for the Bucs to do would be to rush 4 and drop 7. And guess what the Seahawks do quite a bit of? They blitz the fifth, in the least 5 of any team in the NFL. So in the lower 5, anyway, David Lombardi tweeted it out today, and I made a quick short of our video with Zach and posted that in there. And I thought it was pretty interesting stuff, that it could be a problem for Brock beyond the noise and everything else there. And the great, Woolen's a really good corner. I think Michael Jackson's a pretty good corner. I also think that Quandre Diggs is a very good free safety as well too, at least in coverage. I don't think he's obviously he got posterized against the Bucs in the run play, but I think I was jealous when they got him, and I still think he's a good free safety.
See, I'm fine if they want to drop 7 and rush 4. They're pretty bad at the run. You hit them with a couple of draw plays out of the shotgun when they're rushing 4, and they're going to make them pay. I think they're already terrible against the run. If they decide, to stay back and only rush 4, and it's harder for Purdy to find an open guy, then you just keep gashing them with the run.
And we're not going to have Debo this game, so that's going to be interesting to see how we figure that out. It would be nice. Joey Mahoney's here in the chat. He's Danny Gray's biggest fan, so maybe we get him involved finally.
I see what I think with no Debo. I think what we should see at least is more of a bruiser type run game where you do give McCaffrey gets a lot of touches, but he gets them on the stretch plays and stuff like that. But we get to see a lot more of Mason, up the middle, because he's a bruiser and he's going to start beating that defense up, and then that's when stuff starts to open up even more. So because there's no Debo and it takes away from our more finesse run game, maybe we can add a little more power to our run game with Mason. I don't know that's what's going to happen, but that would be a good way to counteract losing Debo, is to just add a little bit more of a power run game to the offense.
And we can still use Kittle a bit more. We haven't really used him a little bit over these past few weeks, but
I think
use him a whole lot more.
I think he makes Purdy feel comfortable. So I think as weeks go on, we're going to see a lot more Kittle getting the ball.
Yeah,
I think Kittle has a big matchup advantage. I don't think they have any. The 2 Seahawks people I had on yesterday, one content creator and one longtime fan that I've gone back and forth with on the timeline for years, both felt like Kittle, they don't have anybody who can cover Kittle.
Yeah, just to answer Joseph's question real quick. If we win tomorrow, we win the division. Yes, we clinch.
Joey Arredondo brought up a great stat line about Purdy, by the way.
I just put it up for you. But yeah, Purdy is 27 of 37 with 281 yards with 3 touchdowns when not blitzed. It's a pretty good stat.
That makes it hard to beat a team when their run game is super good and then their rookie quarterback's actually pretty proficient.
That's why I'm really interested to see what Purdy looks like in terms of when a teams not blitzing because again,
Well,
Ted said that
you know,
they're kind of at the bottom of blitzing. So I mean, they're playing more coverage. So I'm very interested to see how Brock Purdy actually does with that because we haven't really seen that since
well,
both Miami and
it
Tampa
was
Bay blitzed.
interesting with all the injuries Tampa Bay's defense had because they still are saying like they were top defense, still good regardless, and he diced them up like onions. So
He torched them.
I mean I know they're a little hurt, but they're still considered one of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. So Seattle's defense, other than turnovers, I don't think they're that good. So I mean it's like who's the other? I'm trying to think of the other deep. Oh yeah, so perfect example. In college football, freaking USC's defense was terrible, but they got a lot of turnovers. Doesn't mean that they're not terrible and going to lose games that are important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you get some turnovers doesn't mean it's going to make you're going to make enough difference to change the game.
Yeah.
If you suck. So.
Yeah. So for the Seahawks injury report, questionable is safety Joey Blunt, back cornerback Trey Brown illness, running back DJ Dallas ankle, and safety Ryan Neal knee, and defense tackle Al Woods Achilles. So it's looking like
they're banged up too.
Yeah.
The one thing I hate is, and obviously we can't do with it, but I feel like every time we play Seattle, we're not healthy. Like we're not at 100, even close to 100%.
So I saw too that Hyder's questionable in the injury report.
Yep.
He'll play.
So and me and Christian were kind of talking after he got hurt on Sunday. I thought he was gonna be out, but just to hear that he's questionable, that's actually really good because
they actually said, Kyle said that if the game wasn't the way it was and we were not leading by so many points, Hyder would have came back into the game. So that's a good thing. The one we did lose is Givens.
Yeah, that
He'll
sucks.
be out for a while.
Yeah, I was Givens.
Oh,
And we already lost Ridgeway too, so it's like
Ridgeway.
Ridgeway was.
So I guess it'd be Ty McGill
So,
might get some more playing time.
What the thing is, though, is because Armstead's back, obviously it hurts not having many healthy guys, but it's as bad when we didn't have him or Kinlaw because
Mr. Roboto.
most of the game Armstead's going to be in, and he's been absolutely dominant since he came back. So it's we're not trying to fill two spots constantly. So there's a little bit of a hurting with not having Kinlaw, but the fact that we do have Armstead that's why it doesn't worry me too much. Like the injuries suck, but it doesn't worry me too much because we still have Armstead and he has been an absolute terror since he came back.
Yeah.
I want to answer what Joey was saying. He said something about if we win the he said if we win the division on Thursday, that he's just going to bench everybody for the rest of it. But who are you benching for the rest of the season, though?
And the thing is, I wouldn't
don't
bench
have-
people because
Why
the
would you
thing is,
bench?
if
We're trying to get the second seed.
yeah, and the thing
Yeah.
is, if you look at like, I always go back to this season, but remember when the Ravens made, like, I think it was the year that they lost in the first round, like the first time,
Yeah.
and they basically didn't play their guys week 17, they didn't play their guys the last week, and so then they came out totally just flat into the playoffs, and that's how they ended up losing. So like, I would not bench our guys.
I don't think they can.
I feel that way too.
If they win the division on tomorrow, they have a chance to get the second seed. People always tell me what's the difference between the second and third seed. I go, second seed, you play 2 games at home in the playoffs. If you win the first one, if Philly happens to lose to the Cowboys per se, then the NFC Championship is played at Levi's.
Yeah.
It's hard
you
to
play
beat
one
us
game.
at home.
Yeah.
Hard
So you
to
only
beat
play
us
one
at home in
game
the playoffs.
in third seed. So, and that second seed is very winnable.
Also, because Minnesota has not been looking good the past couple weeks.
Nope.
So we can easily get that second seed.
Yeah, I think so
I want
too.
to bring up something about the injuries real quick.
Okay.
So that weren't talked about because I was going to get to it about the special teams, which is Tarvarius Moore's been out for a while. We lost Dante Johnson to an ACL in the last game, and then Womack now is out with a concussion.
Yeah, that hurts.
So those are
he's been a
three.
stud.
Yeah, so those are three pretty big special teamers we're missing. And when we're talking about special teams against this team biting us pretty often, that gives me a concern too. So
Yeah, because we end up somehow just like totally being awful on special teams when we play
Yeah.
Seattle.
So moving
Don't
forward,
remind me, Anshul,
See,
please.
but when we played them the first time, our special teams were still kind of getting, used to the new guy, and since then they've been actually really, really good since that game. So it's a lot different if you're comparing the first time to the set to now, because there's been our
We're
special
top
teams
10
have
right
been
now,
much,
the special
they've
teams.
been much better, and I haven't better whiskey right now. He's an fucking beast.
Who's the beast? Because you were cutting off.
say that one more time, Christian. You cut
Robocop
out.
jumped
Wisniewski.
in.
Mitch.
Mitch
Mitch.
Wisnowski.
What?
Mitch
Mhm.
Wisnowski. He was talking about Mitch.
So, also too is God, I wish I had the stat line right now. Oh, let me actually no, I took a picture of it. I saw on I think it was NFL Network. The Niners have allowed 17 or fewer points in 6 straight games, first time since 1991. So, I mean, that's the defense is doing their job.
Legendary right now.
Yeah. Well, that too. Hey, remember the legendary
If
season?
we win the Super Bowl, this defense will go down as one of the best ever.
What was your legendary comment, Brandon? Remember what?
Remember the when Quan Alexander was saying it's
Yeah, he used to
legendary.
always say. Yeah, he used to always say that.
He always hyped up the defense, but
What was the group called again?
The Hot
Hot
Boys.
Boys. The Hot
Boys.
Yeah.
yeah. So moving forward, we're gonna be ending here shortly, but I want to get everybody's X factor for tomorrow night's game on offense and defense, and we'll go ahead and start off with Ted first. Who's going to be your X factor for offense and your X factor for defense?
I'll chicken out and say Christian McCaffrey on offense, and defense I'll get a little more bold and say Hufanga.
Okay. Bashar, go ahead.
Kittle, like I mentioned earlier, so I'll stick with Kittle.
Okay.
I want to see Kittle blow up and get some big plays. That would be nice. On defense, I'm going to say Drake Jackson. I want to see Drake Jackson sack Geno Smith a few times, or at least once.
All right.
He's been a stud the last couple of weeks.
For me, it's going to be Brandon Ayuk. I think he's going to step up and have a good game.
Mhm.
And on defense, it's going to be Greenlaw again.
Damn it, Beto, you
Big
fucking
play
took
Dre.
both mine, you son of a... Damn it, Beto, why you take both
All
of mine?
right.
You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, bro.
All right.
What do I think I like?
I know, you're right.
Defense, I'm sticking with my guy. And Beto, you just took my guy too. I'm going with Drake Greenlaw. I went with them last week. I was right too. Like he was just fantastic. So I'm going with Drake Green. Also, by the way, go vote Drake Greenlaw and Fred Warner to the Pro Bowl, because right now they're not getting respect. So guys, make sure you guys go vote.
Give the man some respect, y'all.
Exactly. And then on offense, I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy again, just because I want to see how he does versus, more of a coverage type of defense team that doesn't blitz a lot. So, going with the same picks as last week.
There's a pretty funny Data Gray argument in the chat, guys.
Yeah, I saw that, but Danny Gray hasn't been on the field, so you can't say much about him right now. Christian, go ahead.
He did get his first catch finally.
Yeah, he did.
I'm also
Let me
obviously
guess your pick,
offense.
Christian.
Offense, I'm going to say Ayuk. But the reason I have to say Ayuk is because with no Debo, Ayuk legitimately has to be the number one receiver now. I said it last week because I wanted to see him do it, but now he has to do it. So I'm going to say Ayuk because maybe we finally get to see what I've been wanting to see is Ayuk really become that number one receiver. And then I'm going to go Greenlaw because he's been an absolute fucking stud the last couple of weeks and continue playing such a high level. I expect him to make a big impact in this game, and maybe even a play that changes the tide of the game, whether it be early or late in the game. So.
All right. Mine offense, I'm going to say Brandon Ayuk as well. Just like how Christian said, this is his chance to be shown as a number one receiver with Debo out. and knowing that I know Ray is going to be out there a lot more. I would actually kind of see Danny. I would like to see Danny Gray out there more than Ray, but it is what it is. And then on my defense, I'm going to say Dre Greenlaw as well, just because he's been killing it the past couple weeks. I got that guy on my fantasy team and gave me 15 points last week. So I'm going to say Dre, big boy Dre. But yeah, and then also as well, guys. God, I had something I was going to say, but I forgot. But any last words or comments you guys want to say before we end the show?
Not everybody at once.
I guess the
Oh,
biggest
go
thing
ahead.
for me is like, again, it's just I have a big concern about how this team comes out, just because it is in Seattle, and the Niners haven't been all that great in Seattle. Like we said last time, luckily they were able to do it in 2019. But so that's my biggest concern, is that they're gonna have to come out like from the start, play really really well, and just do that the entire game. That's my just biggest thing that I'm kind of concerned about in this game.
Stay healthy, get a W, have a clean injury report. Let's do this. Let's win the division.
Yeah, for me, penalties. Do not stay disciplined. Stay disciplined, man. Play smart. And the McClinchy, if you get a false start, I'm going to kick your ass myself.
You said it. We didn't say his name there after this past game, because that was one of the few games where we didn't have to worry about McGlinchey so much.
Yeah, McGlinchey did all right last week. So
He's been playing good the past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he
I
even
don't know
had
about the past few weeks, but he played better this past game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Ted, any last thoughts?
Pound the rock, get the ball to Kittle, and play some good special teams. I'm counting on the defense to play well. I don't feel like I have to say that. So,
all right, and for me, I'm gonna say let's hope Big Glock Brock. I wanted to say the other one, but it's okay. This is a PG show.
Since when the fuck is this a PG show, Brandon?
Hey,
PG-13,
with
okay?
Christian on here, it's
Come
not
on,
a PG show.
Gambino, fuck.
Listen, you need to have a
Hey,
big
fucking
one to say it.
PG.
Hey, but
Fucking
did,
PG
look at
show
that
my
reception.
ass.
did everybody
Fucking PG
see what
show.
Kittle did after Purdy scored?
I saw that. That was ridiculous.
So-
I hope he doesn't do it again, please.
Wait, what did
Alright,
you
so-
say, Brandon?
Brandon, what did you say? Though? Go.
Oh no,
About
I just
Purdy.
said, huh?
What did you
I
want to
didn't
see from
hear
Purdy?
you.
It's
I didn't
pretty
hear you.
big.
Big Glock Brock.
I think this is kind of this guy keeps asking this question. SG Sports Talk Channel Chardal. He says thoughts on Tom
Right.
Brady becoming the first quarterback to throw for 100K passing yards.
Don't
I
care.
mean, he's a GOAT in many people's eyes, so it doesn't surprise me. He's playing longer than anybody.
For me, I want to see Mason get the ball in freaking times that actually fucking matter in this game.
Mhm.
Not at the end of the game, because I love the way he runs. I love how he gets skinny. And he'll I notice he goes sideways a lot in a small hole and gets through and gains a couple more yards. I like the way he's able to move his body. He has great body control. I want to see him get the ball some, and then I want to see this defense continue to get. This defense needs to continue to get turnovers. That's what I want to see. Just a continuation of getting turnovers like we've been getting. So more turnovers.
Okay.
Chardal, you did not say did not compare Jimmy Garoppolo to Tom Brady. You got to
Yeah, bro. I'm like, and I can't believe Brandon even put it up there.
Hey, I had
What?
to, bro.
What?
Funny.
He goes, who I can't. I'm not even going to rephrase, but he compared
said
Tom Brady to
ACG.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Hey, I hate to say it. I don't want to shit on the guy, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Jimmy's not going to be coming back next year. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a total foregone conclusion.
Yep.
How are you going to put Garoppolo in the same conversation as Tom
Dude,
Brady?
No, I've never seen that before.
Does Purdy doing better in this offense hurt Jimmy's stock too with other teams?
I think so. I don't. Plus,
He's already played better.
Well,
I
now
can put
Jimmy
them in a
can't do
sentence.
nothing because he's hurt. So
Here's
go
the
ahead, Ted.
sentence.
Go ahead.
Jimmy Garoppolo was Tom Brady's backup. That's the sentence.
Whoa.
It is.
There
And this whole thing about his stock is going down. Each game that Brock wins with Kyle, Jimmy's stock goes down for next offseason, because one thing that Jimmy can say, well, the Niners win games with me. Well, if we're winning games with Brock, maybe it wasn't Jimmy.
Shocking.
Hey,
Right?
and notice how the media is not talking about Jimmy Garoppolo wins games with the Niners.
All the Jimmy.
We're talking nothing but Brock
sexuals
Purdy.
are
That's
gone.
it.
Yep.
Well, Brock Purdy's a sensation,
BC.
right now, obviously.
Yep.
BCB, baby.
So, I think other than that, guys, I think we're going to call it. Thank you, Ted, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I've been
Anytime.
wanting to have you on the show
Yeah,
for a
it's
while.
nice to meet
so
you,
I'm glad
bro.
we were able to.
Likewise, nice to meet you, Ted.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Ted.
Been
Yeah,
on with
I'll
Ted a few times. It's always a pleasure. So
I've had lots of people be really nice and collaborate with me. So if anybody just hit me in the DMs and let me know.
We all know your favorite pastime is shitting on all the other fans of other teams.
And
Beast
some of
on
ours
Twitter.
too. Some of the Jimmy G stands.
And
of
so,
ours.
yeah, oh, dude.
Oh, yeah. Those
Yeah,
guys
we
are-
know that's your number one is shitting on the Jimmy section.
But
Yeah. Got it.
Ted, well, before we end it, go ahead and share where everybody can find you at.
Oh, sure. On Twitter, it's right here. You can see at TedH6. On YouTube, it's Ted Talks Ball. And on Instagram, it's Ted_Talks_ball. But you can find it all on my Twitter bio. So
I'm sorry, Ted. I misunderstood you, bro. No disrespect, but I thought you said Ted plays with his balls. I'm like, what kind
Oh,
of
my
God.
God.
what kind of
This is
podcast
not a
do you
children's
have,
show,
bro?
ladies and gentlemen.
who
I'm
does
sorry.
it?
That's what I thought I heard. I'm sorry.
That concludes our.
And in other news, Beto, water is wet. So
I love it.
Oh, well, look at this comment. I'm not even going to pull it up, but you guys can go ahead and look at it and laugh at it. If you guys, you saw it. You saw Brandon.
Here you go, Bashar. That's all for you. All right.
Oh, my God.
So
Thanks, Joey.
once again, Ted also does articles for the Hive page as well. So you
Oh
can,
wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 49ers Hive and all 49ers FN as well too. So both.
Ted H is all over
awesome.
the place.
So he's part of the fam. So make sure you guys go hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and follow him on all other social media platforms.
And
Yeah, Zach Hernandez gave me my first break. He was the first one who ever asked me
Yes,
if
sir.
I wanted to write
I
articles.
want to say this. If you guys
But
are
you-
watching Forever Faithful podcast on the 49er Minded channel or any other platform out there, even if it's on Twitter, make sure to subscribe to the 49er Minded Forever Faithful YouTube channel, the Forever Faithful podcast. Definitely go to their channel and specifically subscribe to their channel.
Appreciate that,
Oh,
Bashar.
Ted, what were you going to say? I wanted to hear what you were
Oh, I was just saying
Same.
that Zach gave me my first break. He was the first one who ever asked me if I wanted to write articles. So, love me or hate me, however you feel about me, you can blame Zach Hernandez for getting
Yeah,
me started. So,
Nobody can blame
Zach's a great guy.
Zach's just a
We
great
all
guy.
love Zach here. So.
yeah.
I love his
Yeah.
commercials.
Most of us would be here without
He
him.
should be
And
our.
I had him
Have
on-
you ever
I
had
had
a
him on my show last
4x4
week.
parlay? And,
It was like
Yeah.
a dream come true having him on the show. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, like Bashar said, please hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. We're still trying to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube. And once we do that, we'll give away something for free, which is a jersey. That's what I'm talking about. So please make sure
Go
you
out
hit
on a
that
date
subscribe
with
button.
Brandon.
What? A blind date with me?
Hell yeah. Hey, a blind
the
date
subs are going to pile up now.
with
No
the Gambino himself, okay? Blind date with the Gambino himself.
All right. So, anyways, like I said, find us on YouTube for Air Faithful Podcast. We're also on Instagram, spelled all the way out for Air Faithful Podcast, TikTok as well, and Twitter is where we post everything, all your 49er news and updates. And then also too, if you haven't yet and you want to listen to the audio portion, we're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the other podcasts that you can find. We're on there. So, other than that, guys, until next time, go Niners.
Go Niners. Let's go.
Going Niners.
Win that division.
Órale, puros pinches Niners.
Seahawks.
Peace out. Late.
Seattle.